few years before that. What were some of the things that were talked about, some of the basic considerations in developing this tool? And what are, and you talked about the fact that it's built on top of, well, it's kind of bundled in with your LabVIEW. How much were you able to leverage your existing software and other resources in order to develop Nigel AI?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So yes, absolutely. Lots of incredible engineering went into Nigel well before, obviously, the launch to get it out in the time frame that we did last year. And the initial considerations really were, we want to make sure that Nigel inherits all of the core foundational capabilities or differentiation of our platform. So we, from the beginning, designed it to be open, modular, and flexible, making sure that it was, again, designed to grow and continue to evolve as the technology that's rapidly changing continues to evolve. The other things that we really took to heart up front were three things. It was, we wanted to make sure that the customer, the expert, was always in the loop, was always in control of anything that the AI agent would create or do. The second was keeping data and security very, very much top of mind and front and center. And the third was, as I mentioned, the open platform. We wanted to make sure that was a key attribute. We wanted to make sure that we built our AI agent and Nigel specifically to be extensible and work with our partner ecosystem so that we can make sure that as they innovate and as they bring in new capability, we're able to incorporate that IP into Nigel. So that's how we've thought about it. In terms of packaging, as you mentioned, today Nigel exists within LabVIEW and Test Stand. What we announced yesterday on stage is Nigel will actually come to the whole LabVIEW Plus portfolio. So starting this June, you're actually going to get Nigel across all of our software suite. And very soon, Nigel will actually be its own separate companion, which will have context of all of the tools that you're using from us, and you'll be able to use it in a more agentic fashion, where you can start with more of a outcome-based approach. Today, you may come into a test and measurement bench and say, okay, I need to build a data logger to go test this microphone or this speaker. But as in this agentic flow, you're actually going to start with an outcome in mind. You don't necessarily have to know that you need a data logger. You don't necessarily have to know what hardware you need. But with an AI agent like Nigel, you'll be able to actually start with the outcome in mind and make sure that you get a guided test and measurement expert helping you and coaching you in terms of doing that work. So that's really what we're working to build, and it will all be part of LabVIEW Plus.
So you've had 1 year experience with Nigel AI Advisor on your belt. What have been some of the things you found out in the past year as far as the adoption of it? What were some of the surprises, and what are some of the maybe additional challenges you found from customers trying to adopt the tool, for their applications?
Yeah, so the adoption's been incredible. We actually are continuing to see growth in our adoption rate, but already we've seen 20% of our eligible install base adopting Nigel, and that's not them just turning on Nigel, playing with it, and turning it off. That's we only count it when we see consistent utilization of Nigel. So 20%, very good, and we see that number continuing to climb. The other interesting data point that we actually saw was, as soon as we launched LabVIEW 2025 with Nigel, every version of LabVIEW has some sort of a modest adoption rate as customers convert from previous versions of LabVIEW onto newer ones. But with LabVIEW 2025, we saw over 40% faster adoption of that version of LabVIEW than we've seen over the last decade. So customers are clearly embracing the technology and incorporating it into their workflows. And what's been surprising, besides the fact that customers are adopting it at such a fast rate, is not so much of a surprise, more of something that we're continuing to work with our customers on, is making sure that customers truly understand the data and privacy requirements, right? Nigel is extremely secure. We do not train on any customer data, and we need to make sure that our customers that are using Nigel as well as other tools understand how to responsibly use AI as they go forward. And we're working and partnering with some of the largest companies in every one of these semiconductor, automotive, aerospace, defense, electronics industries to partner with them